You know how it is. We're always streaming, scrolling, saving everything to the cloud. Our digital world just feels so seamless, right? But what if I told you all that convenience has a hidden physical cost? Today, we're going to dive into something pretty wild: the invisible carbon footprint of our digital lives. So let's just ask the big question right up front. Is our digital life really virtual? I mean, we all think of the internet as this weightless, kind of magical thing that just exists in the air, right? Well, let's pull back the curtain and take a closer look at what's actually going on. And this is where it gets so interesting. On one hand, you've got what we see, this clean, beautiful, weightless world right on our screens. But on the other hand, that's all powered by a massive, and I mean massive, energy-hungry physical infrastructure that literally wraps around the entire planet. And that brings us to what we're calling the digital paradox. It's this crazy idea that our supposedly virtual world comes with a very, very real-world cost. And it's a big one. You know, this quote really just hits the nail on the head. We live in a world where convenience is king, but what if that digital ease comes at a hidden, devastating cost to our planet? And that's exactly it, isn't it? We'd become obsessed with convenience and speed, but we've kind of just ignored the environmental price tag that comes with it. Okay, so where is all this energy actually going? Let's dig in and unveil the physical backbone of the internet. We're going to find the hidden energy guzzlers. All right, get ready for this number because it's a shocker. Around 2% of all the electricity generated on the entire planet is consumed by data centers alone. Just the data centers. To give you some perspective, that's more electricity than many entire countries use. These things are basically the factories of the digital age. They're always on, 24/7, and they are just incredibly thirsty for power. So, this enormous impact really boils down to three main culprits. First, you've got the data centers, those digital factories we just talked about. Then there's the network infrastructure. Think of these as the energy highways for all our data. And finally, the life cycle of our own devices, from the moment they're made to the moment they become e-waste. Okay, let's zoom in on these data centers for a second. Picture these huge, windowless warehouses just packed to the gills with computer servers. But here's the kicker. The real energy hog isn't just running the computers themselves, it's cooling them. These machines generate a mind-boggling amount of heat, so keeping them from literally melting down requires a colossal, non-stop air conditioning operation. All right, we've been talking big picture, industrial-scale stuff. But now let's bring it right down to you and me. Let's talk about the cost of a single click and how our everyday habits actually add up. This chart really lays it all out, doesn't it? Look at this. Streaming video for just 1 hour has a real measurable footprint. And storing photos, something we all do without a second thought. It seems harmless, right? But keeping those pictures alive on a server for a whole year, wow, it really adds up. And even sending emails, especially the ones with big attachments. Every single step of that process, from your computer to theirs, uses energy. And this right here is such a crucial point. We all talk about the cloud, like it's this magical, fluffy thing floating up in the sky. But it's not. It's just someone else's computer. Your forever cloud storage is actually on a physical hard drive spinning away in a data center somewhere. And that drive needs a constant drip of electricity to keep your photos and files safe, accessible, and cool. It is absolutely not a fire and forget situation. Okay, so that's the problem. And I know, it can feel a little overwhelming. But here's the good news. There is a ton we can do about it. So let's totally shift gears and start talking about solutions. We'll start with something we can all control: our own digital diet. Here are 4 simple but super powerful steps you can take. First up, stream smarter. Look, do you always need to watch in 4K? HD and 4K video files are huge, and they take way more energy to process, so maybe choose standard definition sometimes. Second, clean your cloud. We're all digital hoarders, but it has a real cost. Go through and delete the files and photos you just don't need anymore. Third, unsubscribe. All those mailing lists you never read, they're just clogging up servers and creating unnecessary data traffic. And finally, a big one: keep your tech longer. The carbon footprint just to manufacture a new phone or laptop is massive, so try to fight that upgrade cycle. And you know, it goes beyond just our personal habits. We have immense power as consumers. We can vote with our wallets, right? We can choose to support the tech companies that are being open and honest about their energy use, the ones that are actually investing in renewable energy. When we demand that kind of transparency and accountability, it forces the entire industry to move in the right direction. So, what does the future hold? Well, the great news is that tons of really smart people are tackling this problem head on. Let's take a look at the path forward and see what it takes to build a greener web. And this isn't just a wish list of cool tech. This is a full-on, multi-pronged attack on the problem. We're already seeing things like AI being used to make those massive cooling systems way more efficient. And then there's some really wild stuff, like underwater data centers that use the cold ocean water to stay cool. How cool is that? Plus, there's a constant push for more low-energy chips. But the ultimate goal, the real game changer, it's powering the entire internet with renewable energy. Of course, individual actions and cool corporate innovations, they're only part of the puzzle. To really make a huge systemic change, we also need smart policies and regulations from governments. These are the rules that can push everyone, the whole industry, towards energy efficiency and green energy on a massive scale. Think of it this way. Innovation gives us the tools, but good policy gives everyone the reason to actually use them. At the end of the day, the internet isn't some force of nature that just happened to us. It's something we are all actively building together every single day with every click and every choice we make. The shape of our digital future is entirely up to us. So the final question is, what kind of world will we choose to build?